Hi, it's June the 1st, 2021. And this is your daily devotion. Last night, Olivia came over, and my granddaughter, and she found the old cake topper from Timothy and my wedding, and she decided that we needed to play wedding. We had a good wedding celebration last night. That got me thinking about John 2, 1 through 11, the wedding in Cana, Jesus' first miracle. So listen to this story. On the third day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When wine gave out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now standing there were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them up to the brim. He said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the chief steward." So they took it. When the steward tasted the water that had become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the steward called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this, the first of his signs, in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. There is so much in this story. What a wonderful story. And no way in this brief meditation could we go into it all. John always packs his narratives with so much symbolism. But there's a point in this that has been running through my mind for the last week. It's the reality of the way that God reveals the glory of God in our lives, in the midst of our stumbles, in the midst of our what seem like mistakes or what are mistakes, in the midst of struggles. In this particular instance, this was a potential catastrophe. We ran out of wine, no big deal, right? But in this day and age, it was a big deal. It would have been a humiliation to the family to have not had enough wine for the wedding feast, which might have lasted a week. And so the mother of Jesus knows that this humiliation is about to happen, and she knows that her son can do something about it, and so Jesus does. What seemed like an interruption in the celebration ends up being a great opportunity for God to show God's glory, for blessing to occur. The reason this has been on my mind recently is that I got the great opportunity to interrupt my regular work life with a vacation, and on the vacation I noticed that sometimes the interruptions are where we stopped and saw things that we wouldn't ordinarily have seen. I was walking on the beach and I had my phone with me, and I was interrupted by a phone call from church. And so I answered it. I didn't mind answering it, but it caused me to stop and be still for a minute. And as I answered that phone and stood still, I looked down and I saw a perfect shark's tooth right in front of me. Perfect shark's tooth. Didn't even have to look for it. I would have never seen it if the phone hadn't have interrupted my walk. Another day, I was riding my bike and I noticed a funny sound, like, uh-oh, something's not right. And so it caused me to stop and look at my bike wheel and slow down and then get back on. And I was behind the other two in my family. And because I was looking at what was wrong, I saw a great white egret just right in front of me walking through the marsh. And then when I found out what was really wrong with my bike, there was a hole in the tire that had come from the rim. My tire went flat. And by this time I was back with the other two, and we had to stop right there. We couldn't go any further. And lo and behold, right there at the point that we stopped, I looked over and said, look, there's a turtle laying eggs. One of the diamondback terrapins that live in the marsh and on the island was in the process of digging out the hole and depositing her eggs in it. And we would have never seen that if we'd have ridden right by on our... It's pretty cool that these interruptions led us to some of the most memorable parts of our vacation. The interruption of the wedding led to the disciples seeing the glory of God. It led to Jesus' first miracle. It led to really good wine. I'm not saying that God punctures our bike tires or causes us to have tragedy that causes us to stop. But I am saying that God is working all the time in the midst of our lives, and sometimes stopping is a good thing. And sometimes the interruptions are used for our good because God is, in God's way, working all things together for our good. If we trust in Him, we know that. There's confidence in that. We can walk through our challenges. We can maybe be more patient with our interruptions. Direction changes may happen. Mistakes may occur, ours or others. But if we constantly orient ourselves toward God and the way of God, God's going to lead us and even make these interruptions to be a part of God's will, because God really is for us. God has amazing things to show us and to teach us at every turn on our journey. Some of God's natural wonders we may need to see, like a shark tooth, a great white egret, a turtle laying eggs, the demonstration of God's amazing grace, of God's glorious power in Jesus, turning water into wine, turning humiliation into joy, turning death into life. God is for us. That's something I'm going to remember today. Have a great day.